Eurovision, and her parting words were, "Look out for the cowboy from Malta. I will." Moving on to river bathing. Swimmers hoping to use one of England's official river bathing sites may well find themselves staring at signs telling them not to swim there. Why? Well, the Environment Agency says the water's unsafe at 12 out of 14 river sites across the country. Only the River Store at Sudbury has been given the all clear. Now, it may seem odd that an official bathing spot cannot be swum in, but rather like beaches, river bathing sites slightly choose themselves. They're spots that tend to have lots of swimmers and toilets nearby. Once they become official, the water's then regularly tested. This is when swimmers will find out whether the water's clean or full of sewage. It does seem like an odd arrangement to make a bathing spot official, basically, before we know the water's safe. But water campaigners say it's been the most efficient way to get rivers tested and water companies to clean up their act. While 12 existing sites aren't currently safe to swim in, the government has announced 13 new sites. Most of these are near the coast rather than inland, where the sea helps to keep water cleaner. So are you a regular river swimmer, and has a no swimming sign gone up in your usual spot? What do you make of it? Has it put you off? Vine at bbc.co.uk, text 88 to 91. First, let's go to Jonah Fisher, the BBC's environment correspondent. And Jonah, you went on this road trip around the UK to these 14 bathing sites. Lucky you. What did you find there?
My appetite for swimming in May is quite limited, it has to be said, even before you take the water quality into consideration. But I did go in one place in Ludlow. So, basically we went around all of these 14 designated bathing sites on inland rivers. There are more than 450 sites that are monitored in all by the Environment Agency, with the vast majority of those ones being along the coast on beaches. And for the most part, those have much higher water quality standards because, in part, the sea can just wash away pretty much whatever gets put into it. So we went round these 14 rivers from Somerset to Yorkshire to East Anglia. And as you said, 12 of them have had their water quality rated as poor. The Environment Agency tests for bacteria that's linked to both human and animal poo, and the levels of that was too high last summer at those 12 sites. So there are signs up saying basically that the advice is against swimming. It doesn't mean don't swim, it just means that the government advice is don't go in the water.
Yeah.
So 12 of them have that. One of them has been rated good, as you said, the River Stour in Suffolk, and one in South Oxfordshire has been rated as sufficient, which I guess means kind of just about okay if you fancy it.
And so just why, the point of being designated as a bathing site, well, why is that important? What does that change?
Well, from the campaigner's perspective, because you basically have to run a bit of a campaign to get your site designated as a swimming site, the important thing for them is that it gets the site regularly tested through the summer months. So from mid-May to September, pretty much once a week, someone from the Environment Agency will come and test the water and see what's going on. And if you're a designated bathing site, if the water's not good, it starts a process and an interaction with whatever's causing the pollution. And in many cases with rivers, it's the local water company with sewage discharges, and it creates a process whereby things have to be fixed or movement has to be made. So campaigners have latched onto this, and in a few places they've really started to see some signs of success, that with these kind of official testing process going on and this kind of dialogue which then begins with the water companies, actually in these stretches of river, things are being invested in and water companies are having to take things seriously.
So just to get this straight, Jonah, so I mean, and it seems a bit mad that the best, if you want to get a polluted river near you cleaned up, you need to swim in it first, even if it's got an unsafe level of faeces in it.
Yeah, well, it's madder than that. You don't have to just swim in it, but you have to get lots of other people to swim in it as well, because basically the criteria for a bathing site is that for several days during the summer there will be more than 100 people swimming there. So you have to really get everyone to get involved, get them all down into this polluted river, and then that will pave the way for you to get approved as a designated site to become part of this kind of regime of testing, which may further down the line then lead to some sort of improvements and your river not being polluted.
Yeah. And so the government announcing then, is this right, that 6 new river bathing sites will be monitored for the first time this summer? Why is that significant?
Yeah, so there's 13 more sites in all. A few of them are, as you say, on the coast or in estuaries. 6 more on inland rivers. There are a few places which have been picked out. There's a first site at Kingston on the River Thames. That will be the first official bathing site on the Thames in London. There's also another site on the Thames at Pangbourne. So obviously, the fact that people are quite into wild swimming, that seems to be increasingly popular, is reflected in the fact that the new additions in terms of officially monitored bathing sites are now to a significant extent in freshwater on rivers and lakes as well as at the sea.
All right, Jonah, thank you for bringing us up to speed. Jonah Fisher, the BBC's environment correspondent there. Karen Shackleton is a founding member of Ilkley Clean River Group who are campaigning to clean up the River Wharfe. Karen, thanks for joining us. What's the problem with it?
The problem we had in Ilkley, that every time it rained, we'd have raw sewage going into our rivers. Now, we tried with the Environment Agency to uphold the law, which states that the discharges of untreated sewage should only go into the river under periods of exceptional rainfall. Now, we were in the situation, and we got the data from Yorkshire Water, and it showed that going into one of our CSOs was untreated sewage, a number of hours amounting to 120 days of solid sewage going into our rivers each year.
Yeah, and not an unfamiliar story, I should say, with the water. I mean, we've been hearing these kinds of reports, haven't we, for a long time. How is that impacting sort of the local community where you are, and why did you decide to campaign about it?
Well, we were in a situation where we had, on one occasion, we had 1,700 people swimming in the river, paddling, playing, on a single day, and this was in water potentially contaminated with sewage. So we said, obviously, that the spills were happening too often, and that the permits set by the Environment Agency were set at too low a bar, which was enabling the water companies to spill the sewage in at such rates. Now, if the Environment Agency had upheld the law and made the water companies stop doing this, then we wouldn't have had to actually apply for the bathing water designation in the first place. And
it's interesting, isn't it, Karen? The River Wharfe was the first to be designated as a bathing site. How much of a difference did that make? As a result of that, we've now got over £60 million worth of investment, not only in Ilkley but in communities upstream of Ilkley, to clean up our river. Brilliant. And improve infrastructure as a result of the bathing water designation to clean it up. Yeah, and that work's still ongoing. Okay. So until that work's finished, we won't be reaching those standards, and it will still be rated as poor and not advisable to swim in our rivers at the moment. Yeah, and were there reports of people, children, getting ill? We've had several reports, yes. We've had children missing end-of-year exams because they've had to be in a drip in Bradford Royal Infirmary as a result of swimming in the rivers a few days beforehand. People getting sepsis, E. coli poisoning, which is basically the poo in the river making them very, very ill, and sickness and things like that. Awful. Karen, thank you, and well done with your campaigning, and great to hear that Ilkley has that and surrounding areas has that investment now, but as you say, it's ongoing. Karen Shackleton, founding member of Ilkley Clean River Group, who are campaigning to clean up the River Wharfe. I wonder if you live near one of these river bathing areas. It's been recently designated. Would you still swim in a space like that despite a warning, or if you knew the water was rated poor? Have you stopped wild swimming because of sewage fears? 88291.
Emergency, paging Dr. Beat. Emergency.